Today we'll be sewing your left center square. This is a 16 patch using 8 fabric A and 8 fabric F squares that are each 3.5 inch square. You'll begin with your 3.5 inch squares. You should have 8 of your white fabric A and 8 of your pink fabric F. So to start with, you'll take each pink square and sew it to each white square along one side. This should give you a total of 8 pairs. Now that all your squares are sewn together, you should have pairs, each one having a pink and a white fabric. Now, once you've sewn them, you want to press them, and I would encourage you to press them all to the same side. I like to press mine toward my darker fabric just because it doesn't show through my quilt as much. But it's completely up to you. The key on this one is you need to press all of them in the same direction, so all toward the pink or all toward the white, whatever you choose. Now that you have all your squares, we're going to start putting them into rows. So you want your rows to be white, pink, white, pink. So the way this will work is you'll just sew each pair of squares together like this. Now, a quick note, if your fabric is directional, meaning it has an obvious top and bottom, you are going to need to pay a little bit more attention here and be sure that you are sewing the rows white, pink, then pink, white, pink, white. For the rest of us, we'll just sew them all the same way, and then when we're finished, we're going to flip them. But just as a note, if your fabric is directional, pay attention to that. So go ahead and sew your squares together. Once you've sewn your strips together, you'll have 4 identical strips with pink, white, pink, white. Now, as a quick note, at this step, you're going to want to press that middle seam so that they all go in the same direction. So I know before you were pressing toward the pink, this one is going to end up being pressed toward the white so that all of your seams go in the same direction. Now, to make our checkerboard pattern, we'll turn 2 of these the opposite way. If your fabric is directional, you may need to press your seams differently, so just be aware of that. If your fabric is not directional, like mine isn't really directional, then you can just do it like that. So now you can see here's your checkerboard. So you'll do 2 rows and 2 rows to begin. So you'll put 1 row on top of the other, and don't forget about locking those seams. So on this one, you want to start with your center seam, so you'll begin by locking this seam here, and then your next pin will be here. Your third pin will be here, and then if you choose, you can do a pin at beginning and end. And remember, we're chain stitching, so you want to start with your scrap of fabric. You'll sew through this. You'll immediately sew through your next set, and then you'll end with another scrap of fabric. Now you should have 2 identical rectangles of 2 rows sewn together. And on these, you'll just want to press them in one direction. I like to press all mine the same direction, so either up or down, whatever you choose. And then for this final seam, you'll just fold this over and again start with your center pin and then do here and here. And there you have it. Another quilt block is finished. Don't forget to press the seams so they're all going in the same direction. And you're done.